Travel back in time with a trip inside the Iowa's News Now
I'm
vault.
just convinced in my own mind, and I hope I'm not wrong, that somebody somewhere did see something that would be very critical to our investigation. So again, it seems like we're always asking the citizens for help, but it benefits them as well as us.
Barnes heads up some 20 detectives in the department, all of whom have been actively involved in adding to this already thick stack of paperwork on the case. Lots of leads, but so far, no big breakthrough.
We're pretty much to the point which we've done in the past. We're going to, and our reports are here, we're going to start again and re-interview on the theory that possibly we've missed something, and haven't talked to somebody that we should have, although I don't think we've missed anyone.
Barnes' frustration is compounded by time. He says the longer the investigation takes, the less likely a suspect will be found. Michelle's case is unique in a number of ways. On the night of December 20th, she drove to Westdale Mall alone to pick up a coat. When she returned to her car shortly after 9 p.m., she was stabbed numerous times. But her attacker did not rob her or sexually assault her. That leads police to believe she was killed by somebody who knew her well. But that's only one of many theories.
Our investigators are still very optimistic about this homicide. I must say that at this point, and up to a week ago, I'm nervous about it. I'm getting a little apprehensive, but then that's not uncommon, I guess.
At least 130 people think they know this man. Some know his name, some have only a vague recollection.
They say that either they know someone that looks like that, or they have seen somebody that looks like that, and they're trying to place them. Either they work at some drugstore or some factory or whatever. So we feel we've got a lot of checking to do. We feel we maybe have some good information.
Are callers generally pretty specific about the information that they've been giving you?
Yes, they're very specific, yeah, which is good at this point for us.
Despite the encouraging reaction, Barnes is guardedly optimistic callers will lead investigators to the killer. He admits it'll be at least 10 days before detectives can narrow down the list of possible suspects to the person who stabbed Michelle to death in Westdale parking lot. But he's going to increase his staff to help speed up that process. Only one investigator has been on the case recently. But with the drawing reviving a trail of clues that has dried up since the December 19th murder, the chief wants to break the case now.
Police detectives are checking out several men who look something like this composite sketch released about a month ago. 2 Action News has learned that one of those men is an inmate of the Lynn County Jail, recently convicted of first-degree sexual abuse. 28-year-old Dennis McKee was found guilty of what's been described as a brutal rape at knife point early last November. Although police have not been able to prove McKee's association with other crimes, he has been linked to several other incidents of sexual harassment, one of which took place in the parking lot of the Target store in southeast Cedar Rapids. Michelle Martinko was stabbed to death in the parking lot of Westdale Mall only 2 weeks before McKee was charged with the November assault. Police asked McKee about Martinko over 6 months ago. Now they want to question him again, but Lynn County Attorney Gene Kopecki has asked them to hold off until after McKee has had a chance to appeal his conviction in early August.
Inside the Lynn County Jail, Dennis McKee waits for sentencing. The 30-year-old Cedar Rapids man has been convicted of first-degree sexual abuse, raping a woman at knife point last November. It's a crime with a mandatory life sentence, but McKee claims he was offered a better deal by the police last January, a shorter prison term if he confessed to the murder of Michelle Martinko. McKee told his story to reporter Mark Casey over the phone. He said he's been questioned about the Martinko murder, taken 2 lie detector tests. After the first, Detective Don Rosdell allegedly offered the deal. He also told McKee there was new evidence linking him with a murder, rabbit hair from Michelle Martinko's coat.
He says, well, we found rabbit hair on one of your coats. We got an FBI report about it. And I said, well, that can't be true. He said, well, we still got you. And we talked for a while, and he says, listen, I said, we'll make you a deal on this. He says, we'll drop these first-degree sexual abuse charges if you cop out to 25-year murder on Martinko. I said, well, I can't do it.
Why do you think, Dennis, they offered you this deal?
Why? Because I didn't even do the sexual abuse. They want somebody from Martinko. they need to clean up their office right now.
We played the tape to detectives here at the police department. Some of them laughed while it was being played. We asked Assistant Chief Jim Barnes whether a deal was offered. He said that charge and the tape as a whole wasn't even worth a response. As for the evidence, he couldn't comment on whether rabbit hair was found on McKee's clothing, but he did tell us McKee is still a suspect in the Martinko case, one of many. Chris George, 2 Action News, Cedar Rapids.
Police are looking for the owners of 2 vans who may know something about the Martinko murder 8 months ago. One van was seen early the morning Michelle was stabbed to death and in the same general area, near the Penny's Catalog Center at Westdale Mall. It's a black custom van with gray stripes, mag wheels, a chrome ladder, and with a spare tire cover bearing the words Dual Custom. The other was sighted several times here, an intersection near Westdale Mall. That van is described only as dark-colored. Police say these people are important, but they are not suspects.
Really, truly, in our mind, we think that they can tell us information that we need desperately to know. I do not think, and our detectives don't think, that they're involved. And maybe they didn't see anything. But we have to clear it in our mind whether they did or whether they didn't. And there could be many reasons they don't want to come forward.
Barnes says this could be called a last-ditch effort to break the case because so little hard evidence has been collected, and suspects are difficult to pin down. At this morning's press conference, Barnes refused to discuss one of those suspects, Dennis McKee. McKee is appealing a recent first-degree sexual abuse conviction.
The case has been frustrating for Cedar Rapids police. 18-year-old Michelle Martinko was murdered 11 months ago. Her body was found in a parking lot in the Westdale Mall on the city's southwest side December 19th. Today's announcement comes after numerous pleas to the public for help. On February 22nd, police offered a $10,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of a suspect. The reward offer expired over a month ago. In April, police admitted they were desperate. Many people had been questioned under hypnosis. Psychics had been called in. Still no suspects. Then on June 19th, police released a drawing of the suspect. Over 200 people called police with information. In July, 2 Action News learned 28-year-old Dennis McKee, an inmate in the Lynn County Jail, was being questioned in connection with the Martinko murder. McKee was convicted of sexual assault, but no solid information was found to link him with the Martinko case. Finally, in August, police made what they called a last-ditch effort for public information. This time they were looking for the owners of 2 vans seen in the Westdale Mall parking lot the night of the murder. But again, the information volunteered provided no results. So now, full-time detectives have been pulled off the case.
Unfortunately, we're at the point where we haven't solved the case, and I must say at this point, I'm not real optimistic about it.
Barnes says no case like the Martinko murder is ever closed. If a hard lead or a suspect can be found, he has the authority to put as many detectives as necessary back on the case. Colleen Riley, 2 Action News, Cedar Rapids.
It's been almost a year since Michelle Martinko was buried here. Ironically, police think her grave could play an important part in capturing her murderer.
Is there going to be an officer at Michelle's grave tonight?
Off the record, you mean?
No.
I have no comment.
Okay.
But it would be good police procedure if there was. Possibly, month anniversary, year anniversary, the perpetrator or whatever could come back. Either come back to the scene of the crime or to the grave. It's happened in other places, you know.
Martinko was stabbed while she was sitting in her parents' car in the Westdale Mall parking lot. Police conducted interviews with over 800 people in the weeks following her murder with no luck. With the help of a hypnotist and a sketch artist, they were able to put together this drawing of the face of the man they think murdered the girl. The police department was flooded with calls after the sketch was displayed by the news media, but the leads led nowhere. However, police are working on something now that has some potential.
We have a person that we're checking pretty close to establish his alibi and to satisfy ourselves that he wasn't in the city at that time. So far, we've got a problem with his alibi. We're working on that hard.